The rain hammered Elon Musk's Tesla like bullets against bulletproof glass. Highway 87 between Austin and Dallas had become a river, and at 11:43 p.m. on this October Tuesday, Elon was fighting to keep his car on the road. Lightning split the sky and thunder shook the earth. His security team had begged him not to drive alone. "Take the jet," they'd said. "It's dangerous." But Elon needed to think. The SpaceX board meeting had been a disaster. Mars colonization was behind schedule. Investors were panicking. Tesla was drowning in Cybertruck production delays. The media was circling like vultures. That's when his dashboard exploded in warning lights. Red, yellow, flashing. The Tesla's computer voice cut through the storm. Battery cooling system malfunction. Reduced power mode activated. Please contact Tesla service immediately. Elon felt the car dying beneath him. The irony hit him like a lightning bolt. Here he was, the CEO of the world's most advanced electric car company, about to be stranded by his own technology. The car limped to the shoulder and died completely. Silence. Just rain and wind and the cosmic joke of Elon Musk, billionaire, sitting helpless in the dark. He grabbed his phone. No signal. Of course. Through the rain, he saw a distant glow, maybe half a mile. Civilization. Hope. Elon pulled on his cheap Target jacket, the one that always surprised people who expected billionaires to wear designer everything, and stepped into the storm. The rain hit him like ice water. By the time he'd walked half a mile, he was soaked to the bone, shivering, his expensive shoes squelching with every step. But the light was getting bigger, clearer. Thompson's Auto Repair read the faded sign. Honest work, fair prices, all makes welcome. It was nearly midnight, but lights blazed inside. Through the bay windows, Elon could see someone working under the hood of an old Ford truck. He knocked on the glass door, and a man in his 40s looked up. Salt and pepper hair, callous hands, coveralls that had seen 1,000 honest days. This was Marcus Thompson, though Elon didn't know his name yet. What Elon also didn't know was that he was about to meet the family that would change his understanding of everything. Marcus studied the drenched stranger on his doorstep, then opened the door without hesitation. "Rough night to be walking," Marcus said, stepping aside. You could say that Elon replied, grateful for the warmth. "My car broke down about half a mile up. I was hoping you might help, though I know it's late." Marcus glanced at the clock, 11:57 p.m., then back at his visitor. Most people would have said, "Come back tomorrow." But Marcus Thompson wasn't most people. "What kind of car?" "Tesla Model S." Marcus raised an eyebrow. Teslas were unicorns in Millbrook, Texas, population 3,200. This was pickup truck country, where the nearest charging station was an hour away. "Don't see many of those around here," Marcus said. "But broken is broken. Let me get my tools." That's when the office door opened and everything changed. A 17-year-old girl emerged, carrying coffee and a physics textbook. Long dark hair, intelligent brown eyes, wearing jeans and a second-hand MIT sweatshirt that would prove more prophetic than anyone could imagine. "Dad, who's this?" Maya asked. "Car trouble," Marcus explained. "Maya, this is Elon." Elon said quickly, not giving his last name. He'd learned that sometimes it was easier to be just another stranded motorist. "Nice to meet you, Elon," Maya said with a smile that lit up the garage. "Dad's the best mechanic in 3 counties. If anyone can fix your car, it's him." "Maya, you should head upstairs," Marcus said. "It's late. Can I see the Tesla first?" Maya's eyes lit up like Christmas morning. "I've only seen them in videos. I'm studying electric vehicle architecture for my senior project." Marcus paused. Maya had always been brilliant with anything mechanical. Her mother, Grace, had encouraged his curiosity before cancer took her 3 years ago. But dreams of engineering school seemed impossible now, with the garage struggling and Maya's college fund consumed by medical bills. "All right," Marcus said, "but quick." They climbed into Marcus's battered Ford pickup and drove through the storm to where the Tesla sat dead on the highway. Even in the dim headlights, Maya's reaction was immediate. "It's beautiful," she breathed, walking around the car like she was examining a spacecraft. "The aerodynamics are incredible. This is the dual motor version, right? Performance model." Elon stared. A teenager in rural Texas had just identified his Tesla specifications in the rain. "You know cars?" he asked. Maya laughed. "I know engineering. Cars, planes, rockets. It's all connected. Energy efficiency, thermal management, software integration." She paused, looking embarrassed. "Sorry, I get excited about this stuff." "Don't apologize," Elon said, genuinely amazed. "What did you mean about rockets?" Maya's face transformed with passion. Electric vehicles and spacecraft share massive challenges. Battery efficiency, weight distribution, thermal management. Companies like SpaceX are revolutionizing space travel with reusable rockets, and those innovations could transform automotive design too. Marcus smiled sadly. He'd heard this speech 100 times. Maya had notebooks filled with rocket designs, dreams of MIT, plans to help colonize Mars. But dreams didn't pay bills. "Let's diagnose this Tesla," Marcus said, popping the hood. Unlike gas engines, the Tesla's front compartment was mostly empty space with some electronic modules. Marcus examined everything while Maya peered over his shoulder with laser focus. "What symptoms before it died?" Marcus asked. "Dashboard lit up like a rave," Elon said. "Red warnings everywhere, then gradual power loss." Marcus nodded. "Thermal management failure. Electric motors generate tremendous heat. If cooling fails, the computer shuts everything down to prevent battery fires." "Could be software, though," Maya added. "Tesla's battery management system is incredibly sophisticated. Sometimes a sensor malfunction tricks the computer into thinking there's overheating when hardware is fine." Elon was stunned. This father-daughter team was diagnosing his car faster than most Tesla service centers. "Too dark and wet for proper diagnosis," Marcus said. "Let's tow it back to the shop." "I don't want to impose." "Nonsense," Marcus interrupted, already hooking up chains. "Can't leave you stranded. Besides, Maya would never forgive me if she didn't get to examine a Tesla's diagnostic systems." Back at Thompson's Auto Repair, Marcus positioned the Tesla in the main bay and connected diagnostic equipment. While computers ran checks, Maya made coffee, and they sat around a table covered with automotive magazines, textbooks, and college application materials. Elon noticed the MIT admission packet. Planning for college? Maya quickly shuffled papers aside, embarrassed. "Just exploring options." "Maya has been accepted to several programs," Marcus said proudly, though tension edged his voice. "MIT, Stanford, Caltech, everywhere she applied." "That's incredible," Elon said. "Those are the most competitive engineering programs in the world." Maya's cheeks reddened. Acceptance and attendance are different things. Uncomfortable silence. Marcus fiddled with tools while Maya stared at her laptop screen. "What's the plan?" Elon asked gently. "Community college for 2 years," Maya said matter-of-factly, like discussing the weather rather than her shattered dreams. "Then maybe transfer to UT with scholarships. Not MIT, but still engineering." "Maya," Marcus warned quietly. "It's okay, Dad. We are where we are." She looked at Elon with forced brightness. "After Mom got sick, we had financial difficulties. Medical bills, lost income, it adds up fast." Elon's heart sank as understanding dawned. Here was brilliant potential being crushed by circumstances beyond anyone's control. "I'm sorry about your mother," he said. "Mom made me promise not to give up on dreams just because the path got harder," Maya said, blinking back tears. She said important journeys sometimes require detours. The diagnostic computer beeped, saving them from the emotional weight. Maya focused on the screen, scrolling through technical data with practiced expertise. "Found the problem," she announced. "Coolant leak in battery thermal management. A faulty sensor is telling the computer the battery's overheating when all other readings are normal. Fixable?" Elon asked. Marcus scratched his chin. "Sensors, maybe $20. Problem is Tesla doesn't sell parts to independent shops. Nearest service center is 300 miles away. What about a workaround?" Maya suggested, her mind already racing. "We could bypass the faulty sensor and recalibrate the system manually." Marcus looked at his daughter in surprise. "That would require reprogramming the car's computer." "I could do it," Maya said confidently. "Tesla uses modified Linux kernel. If I can access diagnostic ports, I should be able to identify the sensor and write a patch." Elon stared in disbelief. This 17-year-old was casually proposing a solution that would challenge most professional automotive engineers. "You know automotive software programming?" Maya shrugged like it was nothing. "I taught myself. Online forums, automotive engineering communities. Plus, I've been modifying Dad's truck computer to improve fuel efficiency." "She squeezed an extra 4 miles per gallon out of my old Ford," Marcus affirmed with obvious pride. "That's extraordinary," Elon said, meaning every word. "Maya, have you considered technology company internships?" "College first," Maya said with a wistful smile. "If I can afford it." The sadness in those words hit Elon like a physical blow. Here was someone with the intelligence to help humanity reach Mars, and money was going to limit her potential. It was exactly the kind of waste that drove him crazy about the world. "Let's see if you can fix my car first," Elon said carefully. "If you can modify Tesla's proprietary software, I'd say you're definitely college material." Maya's face exploded with excitement. "Really? You'd trust me with your car's computer?" "Maya," Marcus said hesitantly, "this is expensive." "I'll take full responsibility," Elon interrupted. "I'm curious what you can accomplish." For the next 3 hours, Elon watched Maya work magic. She connected her laptop to the Tesla's diagnostic port and began navigating software layers that most people found incomprehensible. Her fingers flew across the keyboard as she traced through system logs, identified the faulty sensor, and began writing code to work around the problem. Marcus handled physical repairs, while Maya dealt with software. They worked together with seamless coordination that spoke of years of collaboration, a brilliant daughter learning at her father's side, since she was old enough to hold a wrench. The interesting thing about Tesla's architecture, Maya explained as she worked, is it's based on spacecraft computer principles, multiple redundant sensors, fail-safe protocols, ability to continue operating when individual components fail. She looked up at Elon with bright eyes. "It's exactly the kind of robust engineering you'd need for Mars missions, where there's no roadside assistance and every failure could be life-threatening." Elon felt chills. This girl had just described SpaceX's core engineering philosophy without knowing she was talking to the person who'd established those requirements. "You've thought a lot about Mars missions," he said, keeping his voice casual. "It's what I want to do with my life," Maya replied, still typing. "Establish permanent human settlements on other planets. Design life support systems, power generation, atmospheric processing, all the technology needed to make humanity multiplanetary." Her passion was infectious, her knowledge stunning. She talked about rocket reusability, orbital mechanics, closed-loop life support systems with the fluency of someone who'd spent years studying these challenges. Marcus watched his daughter discuss Mars colonization with a stranger at midnight, and Elon could see the complex emotions on his face. Pride at her brilliance, but heartbreak knowing these dreams might never become reality. "There," Maya said finally, sitting back with satisfaction. "I've isolated the faulty sensor and written a patch telling thermal management to ignore that component. Other sensors will monitor battery heat." She looked at Elon nervously. "Want to try starting it?" Elon slid into the driver's seat and pressed the start button. The dashboard came alive, all warning lights green. The car was running perfectly. "Incredible," he breathed. "Maya, that was absolutely brilliant." Maya beamed while Marcus put his arm around her shoulders. "She's always been good with problems," he said, though amazement colored his voice too. As they cleaned up, Elon found himself thinking about the evening's events. He'd come as a stranded motorist, but was leaving having met two of the most remarkable people he'd encountered in years. "What do I owe you?" he asked Marcus. Marcus waved dismissively. "Cost of coffee, maybe. $50. $50? Elon protested. "Your daughter just performed custom software development that would challenge most professional engineers." "We were happy to help," Marcus replied firmly. Elon left several $100s despite protests. As he prepared to leave, he turned to Maya. "You really should apply to MIT. Don't let money stop you from pursuing dreams." "Easy to say when you have money," Maya replied, not unkindly. Elon was quiet, choosing words carefully. Sometimes opportunities come from unexpected directions. Don't give up yet. But what Elon didn't tell them was that this night had changed him too. Driving away, his mind raced with possibilities. He'd built his career identifying exceptional talent and providing resources for it to flourish. Maya Thompson was exactly the kind of brilliant, passionate individual who could help solve humanity's biggest challenges. By the time he reached his Dallas hotel, Elon had made a decision that would transform multiple lives. He called his assistant at 4 a.m. "Sarah, I need you to research someone." Maya Thompson, 17, Millbrook, Texas. Everything about her academics, family situation, college plans. "It's 4 a.m., Mr. Musk." "I know. This is urgent." The next morning brought a comprehensive report that both impressed and saddened Elon. Maya Thompson was exceptional. Straight A's in every advanced course. Perfect test scores, state science fair winner. She'd been accepted to MIT, Stanford, Caltech with partial scholarships, but remaining costs were still beyond her family's reach. Marcus was a widower struggling to keep his business afloat while raising his brilliant daughter alone. His wife, Grace, had died from ovarian cancer 3 years prior, leaving crushing medical debt. Marcus was current on business loans, but barely. He was known in the community as an honest, hard-working man who'd go out his way to help anyone in need. "There's something else," Sarah added. "I found a newspaper article from 1995 about Marcus Thompson helping someone stranded on Highway 87. "What kind of article?" "Local human interest story about a young mechanic who worked all night fixing a stranger's car so he could make an important business meeting. The stranger was so grateful he wrote to the newspaper praising Thompson's character." Sarah paused dramatically. The stranger's name was Walter Musk. Elon felt the world tilt. "My grandfather." According to the article, Walter was driving from California to Houston for a meeting that could save his struggling import company. His car broke down outside Millbrook around midnight, and Marcus Thompson, who was 22 at the time, worked until dawn machining replacement parts. Elon closed his eyes, trying to process this incredible coincidence. His grandfather had died when Elon was 12, but he remembered Walter's stories about the early business days, the near bankruptcies and last-minute deals that eventually led to family's financial stability. An hour later, he was reading his grandfather's letter to the Millbrook Daily Herald. dated September 15th, 1995. I am writing to commend a young man whose character and dedication deserve recognition. Last Tuesday night, my car broke down on Highway 87 near Millbrook. I was traveling to Houston for a business meeting that would determine whether my company survived or failed. Marcus Thompson, owner of Thompson's Auto Repair, not only agreed to help at nearly midnight, but worked through the entire night to manufacture replacement parts that were no longer available for my vintage automobile. He refused payment beyond material costs, saying that helping others was simply what decent people did. Thanks to Mr. Thompson's skill and generosity, I made it to Houston in time for my meeting. The contract I signed that day saved my business and secured my family's future. I will never forget the kindness of a stranger who asked for nothing except the satisfaction of solving someone's problem. Marcus Thompson represents the best American values: hard work, technical skill, and genuine concern for others. Millbrook is fortunate to have such a fine young man in their community. The letter was signed Walter Musk, Sacramento, California. Elon sat holding the facts, feeling 30 years of connection settling around him. Marcus Thompson had helped his grandfather in 1995, providing assistance that directly contributed to his family's eventual prosperity. Now, 3 decades later, Marcus's daughter faced the same kind of crossroads, dreams potentially derailed by circumstances beyond her control. The circular nature was too profound for mere coincidence. This felt like destiny calling. That afternoon, Elon made a series of phone calls that would establish one of his most ambitious educational initiatives. First, MIT's Dean of Admissions, Dr. Richardson. This is Elon Musk. I'd like to establish a comprehensive scholarship program for exceptional students from underserved communities interested in aerospace engineering and sustainable technology. The Future Engineers Initiative will provide 20 full scholarships annually, tuition, room, board, living expenses, plus mentorship programs and guaranteed internships at SpaceX and Tesla. How many students? Dr. Richardson asked. 20 full scholarships per year to start, but designed to be scalable. If we identify more deserving students, we expand. Mr. Musk, that's an extraordinary commitment. Education is the most important investment in humanity's future. The financial commitment is irrelevant compared to potential returns. Next is real estate team. Find commercial properties in Millbrook, Texas suitable for automotive service with expansion capability. What kind of expansion? Tesla Service Center. Rural areas need electric vehicle infrastructure support. The third call was most important. He dialed Thompson's Auto Repair. Thompson's Auto Repair, this is Maya. Maya, it's Elon from last night. I need to discuss something important with you and your father this afternoon. Sure, but Dad's at the bank dealing with loan issues. He'll be back around 3. Loan issues? Elon's heart sank. Maya's voice grew quiet. The bank is concerned about our payment ability if business doesn't improve. Dad's trying to work out deferrals. Maya, everything's going to be okay. I'll see you at 3. Elon immediately contacted his financial team. Within an hour, he knew Marcus owed $68,000 on a business loan secured by the garage property, current on payments, but had requested deferrals due to declining revenue. $68,000. To Elon, pocket change. To Marcus Thompson, the difference between keeping his family business or losing everything his father had built. That afternoon, Elon drove back to Millbrook with paperwork that would change the Thompson family's life forever. He arrived to find Marcus and Maya working on an old Chevrolet, both looking stressed and exhausted. Elon, Maya called out, "What brings you back? Is there a problem with the software patch?" "No problems with the car," Elon assured her. "It's running perfectly. I needed to talk to both of you about something important." He glanced at Marcus, who emerged from under the hood with grease-stained hands and a grim expression. How did things go at the bank? Marcus wiped his hands, face reflecting exhaustion. Not great. They're calling in the loan. I've got 60 days to pay the balance or they foreclose on the garage. What would that mean? Elon asked, though he already knew. Lose everything, Marcus said bluntly. The garage, the property, everything my father spent 30 years building. Maya put her hand on her father's shoulder. We'll figure something out, Dad. Maybe I can get a job after school. You'll do no such thing, Marcus said firmly. Your job is school and preparing for college. I'll handle the business problems. Actually, Elon said, opening his briefcase and pulling out a folder of documents, I think I might be able to help with both issues. He handed Maya a business card, watching her face carefully. I wasn't entirely honest last night about who I am. Maya read the card aloud, her voice growing quieter with each word. Elon Musk, Chief Executive Officer, Tesla Incorporated. She looked up at him with wide eyes. You're Elon Musk? Marcus frowned, confused. Should I know that name? Dad, Maya said, her voice barely above a whisper. He's the founder of Tesla and SpaceX. He's one of the most famous entrepreneurs in the world. Marcus looked back and forth between his daughter and Elon, trying to process this revelation. You're telling me the guy whose car we fixed last night is a billionaire who's trying to get humanity to Mars? Maya finished for him, still staring at the business card in disbelief. Elon smiled at her summary. That's pretty accurate, though I prefer to think of myself as someone who recognizes exceptional talent when I see it. He pulled out scholarship documents. Maya, you've been accepted to MIT with a partial scholarship. I'd like to cover the remaining costs through a new program I'm establishing. Full tuition, room, board, and living expenses. Maya stared at the papers, hands trembling. This can't be real. It's very real, Elon assured her. The Future Engineers Initiative is designed specifically to support students like you, brilliant individuals who can help solve humanity's biggest challenges but need financial support to access the best educational opportunities. But why? Maya asked, tears forming. Why would you do this for someone you just met? Elon was quiet, choosing words carefully. Because 30 years ago, a young mechanic in this town helped my grandfather when his car broke down. That mechanic worked all night to fix the car, so my grandfather could make a business meeting that saved his company. Marcus's face went pale. Walter Musk. Your grandfather was Walter Musk. You remember him? Of course I remember him, Marcus said softly. He was driving an old Buick with a blown head gasket. Had to machine new parts because replacements weren't available. He told me he was traveling to the most important business meeting of his life. That meeting did save his business, Elon said. The contract my grandfather signed that day provided a foundation for everything my family built afterward. Without your help, I might never have had the resources to start my first company, let alone Tesla or SpaceX. Maya looked back and forth between her father and Elon, tears now streaming down her face. Dad, do you realize what this means? But there's more, Elon continued, turning to Marcus. I'd like to offer you a partnership opportunity that could solve your financial difficulties while serving an important purpose. He pulled out a detailed business proposal. Tesla is expanding our service network to rural areas. I'd like Thompson's Auto Repair to become our authorized service partner for this region of Texas. Marcus sat heavily on a workbench, overwhelmed. I don't understand. Why would Tesla want to partner with a small-town garage? Because you're exactly the kind of person we want representing our brand. Elon replied, skilled, honest, dedicated to solving problems and helping customers. The fact that you raised a daughter like Maya tells me everything I need to know about your character. He opened a proposal, showing financial details. The partnership would include equipment upgrades, specialized training, and guaranteed income from warranty work. Based on our projections, it should easily pay off your current debt and provide stable foundation for future growth. Maya was crying openly, overwhelmed by the transformation of her family's prospects. I can't believe this is happening. Yesterday we were worried about losing everything, and now you're going to MIT to study aerospace engineering, Elon said with a warm smile. And during summer breaks, you'll intern at SpaceX, working on actual systems that will take humans to Mars. Marcus stood up slowly and extended his hand to Elon. I was just doing what anyone should do, helping someone in need. That's exactly why I want to help you, Elon replied, shaking Marcus's hand firmly. Because you understand that success isn't just about individual achievement. It's about lifting others up along the way. Over the next several hours, they worked through all the legal documents and business agreements. The Tesla service partnership was comprehensive. Authorization to perform warranty repairs, access to specialized diagnostic equipment, ongoing technical training, and marketing support to attract customers from the growing electric vehicle market. Maya's MIT scholarship was even more extensive than initially described. Beyond covering all educational expenses, the Future Engineers Initiative included research opportunities, mentorship from working engineers, and guaranteed job offers for high-performing graduates. There is one condition, Elon said as they reviewed the scholarship agreement. I want you to help us identify other students like yourself, brilliant young people who might not otherwise have access to educational opportunities they deserve. Maya nodded eagerly. There are kids at my school who are incredibly smart but don't think college is possible because of money. And there are probably thousands more across the country in similar situations. Exactly, Elon agreed. Talent is distributed equally across all economic levels, but opportunity isn't. Programs like this can help level the playing field. As sunset painted the Texas sky orange and gold, the three sat outside the garage watching the first stars appear in the darkening heavens. You know, Maya said, breaking the comfortable silence, this morning I thought my biggest dream was just getting to attend college somewhere. Now I'm going to MIT and working on actual space missions. Dreams have a funny way of expanding when we give them room to grow, Elon observed. What seems impossible today might be inevitable tomorrow. Marcus put his arm around his daughter, eyes bright with unshed tears. Your mother always said you were destined for something special. I just wish she could be here to see this moment. She can see it, Maya said softly, and she's proud of both of us. We kept her memory alive by helping others, just like she taught us. 6 months later, Maya Thompson's first semester at MIT had exceeded even her most optimistic expectations. The coursework was challenging but manageable for someone with her background in self-directed learning. Her professors quickly recognized her exceptional abilities, particularly her talent for bridging theoretical concepts with practical applications. The transition from small-town Texas to Cambridge, Massachusetts had been more difficult than academics. Maya had never lived away from home, never been somewhere she didn't know everyone by name. But her natural intelligence and genuine personality helped her make friends and find her place in the MIT community. The scholarship program Elon had established had grown beyond Maya's case. The Future Engineers Initiative now supported 15 students in its first year, with plans to expand to 20 by the following year. Maya had played a key role identifying potential candidates, working with her former teachers to find exceptional students who might otherwise be overlooked. Back in Millbrook, Thompson's Tesla Service Center had become a model for rural electric vehicle support. Marcus had completed his technical training and hired 2 additional employees to handle growing workload. The facility had been expanded and updated with state-of-the-art diagnostic equipment, and the business was thriving beyond anyone's expectations. The success wasn't just financial. Marcus had discovered that working on electric vehicles reinvigorated his passion for automotive technology. After decades of repairing similar internal combustion engines, the sophisticated computer systems and innovative engineering of electric vehicles provided new challenges that engaged his mind in ways he hadn't experienced since his early days as a mechanic. On a cold February evening, Maya called her father from her dorm room at MIT, continuing their daily tradition. "How are classes going?" Marcus asked, though he could hear excitement in his daughter's voice. "Dad, you're not going to believe what happened today. Professor Chen invited me to join her research team working on closed-loop life support systems for long-duration space missions." "That sounds incredible. What exactly will you be working on?" "Atmospheric recycling systems that could work in the Martian environment," Maya explained, words tumbling out in excitement. "It's exactly what I've been dreaming about. And the best part is some of our research will be tested on actual SpaceX missions." Marcus smiled, recognizing the same enthusiasm Maya had shown as a little girl explaining science fair projects. "Your mother would be so proud," he said, as he did during every conversation. "I know she would," Maya replied, "and she'd be proud of you too. Elon told me that our service center has the highest customer satisfaction ratings of any Tesla facility in the region." They talked for another hour, sharing details about their respective days and making plans for Maya's upcoming spring break visit home. When they finally hung up, both felt the familiar warmth of connection that had sustained them through difficult years after Grace's death. 3 years later, Maya's junior year at MIT had been extraordinary. Advanced coursework, research projects, SpaceX internships providing hands-on experience with Mars mission technology. She'd published 2 papers in peer-reviewed journals, filed 3 patent applications for atmospheric processing innovations, and been selected as one of the top 10 undergraduate researchers in aerospace engineering. The Future Engineers Initiative had expanded dramatically, now supporting over 60 students per year across multiple universities. Maya had become one of the program's most effective ambassadors, traveling to rural schools and underserved communities to identify potential candidates. On a warm spring day in May, Maya was working in her research lab when her phone rang. The caller ID still seemed surreal. "Elon Musk." "Maya, I have news I want to share personally," Elon said. "The atmospheric recycling system you designed during your last internship is going to be tested on the next crewed Starship mission." Maya nearly dropped her phone. "Are you serious? My actual design is going to space." "Not just space. It's going to be part of the life support system for a 6-month mission to establish the first permanent research station on the lunar surface. Your atmospheric recycling innovations will help keep 6 astronauts alive while they build infrastructure for future Mars missions." Maya sat down heavily, overwhelmed by the magnitude of what she was hearing. 3.5 years ago, she had been a high school student in rural Texas, convinced that her dreams of space exploration would never be more than fantasies. Now, her engineering work was literally going to help sustain human life beyond Earth. "I can't believe this is real," she whispered, tears streaming down her face. "It's real because you made it real," Elon replied. "Your work on atmospheric processing efficiency hasn't just been theoretical. It's solved actual problems we've been struggling with for years. The mass reduction you achieved while maintaining system reliability is exactly what we needed for long-duration missions." After the call ended, Maya immediately called her father. "Dad, remember those atmospheric recycling designs I've been working on? The ones based on principles I learned from working on car engines with you." "Of course. You've been excited about that project for months." "They're going to the moon, Dad. My actual designs are going to be used to keep astronauts alive on the first permanent lunar research station." The silence lasted so long Maya wondered if the call had been dropped. Finally, she heard her father's voice, thick with emotion. Maya, sweetheart, I am so proud of you I can barely find the words. None of this would have been possible without you, Maya said. Everything I know about problem solving, about persistence, about helping others, I learned it from watching you. That night when Elon's Tesla broke down, you could have just told him to come back in the morning. But you didn't, because that's not who you are. 5 years after that stormy night on Highway 87, Elon Musk found himself back in Millbrook, Texas, for Maya's MIT graduation celebration. The garage had been transformed for the occasion. Tables with white tablecloths and centerpieces made from model rockets Maya had built as a child. The walls were covered with photos documenting her journey, from curious teenager to accomplished aerospace engineer. The guest list was small but meaningful. Teachers from Maya's high school who had nurtured her early interest in science, employees from the Tesla Service Center, neighbors who had known the Thompson family for decades, and several scholarship recipients from the Future Engineers Initiative. As evening wound down and most guests had departed, the core group found themselves sitting outside the garage, looking up at the same stars that had inspired Maya's dreams since childhood. I've been thinking about that night 5 years ago, Maya said, breaking the comfortable silence. It changed all our lives in ways we never could have predicted. How so? Elon asked, though he suspected he knew what she was getting at. You needed help with your car, but you also needed to be reminded why you started your companies in the first place. Maya said thoughtfully. Dad needed financial stability, but he also needed to feel like his work was part of something bigger than just fixing individual cars. She paused, looking up at the constellation Orion, and I needed education opportunities, but I also needed to understand that my dreams weren't just personal ambitions. They were part of a larger mission to help humanity. Marcus nodded. Your mother always said that everything happens for a reason. That night, when Elon's car broke down right here, I think we all found exactly what we needed, even though none of us knew we were looking for it. Sometimes, Elon observed, the most important journeys begin with unexpected detours. As if summoned by their conversation about space exploration, the International Space Station appeared as a bright point of light moving across the star-filled sky. All of them looked up simultaneously, watching in comfortable silence as humanity's orbital outpost traced its path among the constellations. In 18 months, Maya said softly, I'll be working at the Johnson Space Center, helping to plan the first crewed mission to Mars. The life support systems I've been developing will keep those astronauts alive during the 9-month journey, and the 2 years they'll spend establishing the first permanent human settlement on another planet. She paused, her voice thick with emotion. And every time I work on those systems, I'll remember that all of this started because a good man in a small town decided to help a stranger on a rainy night. Your mom would be so proud, Marcus said, as he had thousands of times before. But tonight, the words carried extra weight, spoken under the vast Texas sky with evidence of human achievement passing overhead. She'd be proud of all of us, Maya replied. We kept her memory alive by helping others, and now those others are going to help keep humanity alive among the stars. 2 years later, Maya Thompson stood in mission control at the Johnson Space Center, watching the launch of Starship Ares 1, the first crewed mission to Mars. She was now the lead engineer for atmospheric processing systems, responsible for the technology that would keep 6 astronauts alive during their historic journey. The massive rocket lifted off from the launch pad in Texas, carrying with it not just 6 brave explorers, but also the dreams and innovations of thousands of people who had contributed to making this moment possible. Among those contributions were atmospheric recycling systems designed by a young woman who had once thought her biggest challenge would be affording community college. In the viewing area, Marcus and his new wife Elena Thompson watched with tears in their eyes as their daughter's work literally reached for the stars. Next to them sat Elon Musk, who had taken time away from his countless responsibilities to witness this culmination of a journey that had begun 7 years earlier with a broken-down Tesla on a dark highway. Atmospheric systems nominal. Maya's voice came through the mission control speakers as she monitored the life support technology that would sustain the crew for the next 3 years. All parameters within expected ranges. As the rocket disappeared into blue sky, carrying humanity's hopes for becoming a multi-planetary species, Elon found himself thinking about the chain of events that had made this moment possible. A grandfather helped by a young mechanic, leading to business success that enabled technological innovation. A daughter's curiosity and brilliance, nurtured by parents who valued education and character over material wealth. A chance encounter on a stormy night that revealed hidden potential and created opportunities that hadn't existed before. But more than a specific sequence of events, Elon was struck by the fundamental truth that Maya had identified years earlier. Individual acts of kindness and generosity could create ripple effects that changed the world in ways that no one could predict or control. The Future Engineers Initiative had now supported over 500 students, many of whom were working on projects ranging from renewable energy to artificial intelligence to biotechnology. The Rural Service Center model pioneered by Marcus Thompson had been replicated in dozens of small communities, providing local jobs while supporting the transition to sustainable transportation. Most importantly, the story of that night in Millbrook had become a powerful reminder within Tesla and SpaceX that innovation wasn't just about technology. It was about recognizing and nurturing human potential wherever it might be found. 6 months later, Maya received a message from the Ares, one crew that the atmospheric recycling systems were performing flawlessly. The astronauts were breathing clean air, recycled from their own exhalations, using technology that had been inspired by the principles of automotive engineering learned in a small-town garage. "The systems are working better than we hoped," Commander Sarachin reported during a live transmission from Mars orbit. "We've achieved 99.7% efficiency in atmospheric recycling, which means we're completely self-sufficient for life support. This technology will be the foundation for the permanent research station we're about to establish." Maya watched the transmission from her office at Johnson Space Center, surrounded by the awards and recognition she had received for her contributions to space exploration. But the object she treasured most was a simple photograph on her desk. Her parents standing outside Thompson's auto repair on the night she graduated from high school, their faces beaming with pride and hope for her future. That same evening, Maya called her father with the news about the successful Mars mission systems. "Dad, they did it. The crew has successfully entered Mars orbit, and all the life support systems are working perfectly." "That's incredible, sweetheart. How does it feel to know that your work is literally keeping people alive on another planet?" Maya thought about the question for a moment. It feels like Mom was right about everything happening for a reason. All those years of watching you help people solve their problems, all those nights working in the garage together, all the lessons about persistence and kindness, they all led to this moment. "Your mother always said you were destined for something special," Marcus replied. "But I don't think even she could have imagined this." "Actually, I think she could have," Maya said with a smile in her voice. "She taught me to dream big and work hard and help others along the way. Everything else was just details." As they talked, Maya looked out her office window at the stars that were no longer just points of light in the sky, but destinations where human beings were living and working and building the future. In a few years, she would join one of those missions herself, traveling to Mars to help establish the first permanent human settlement beyond Earth. But tonight, she was content to talk with her father about the ordinary details of life in Millbrook, the success of the service center, the progress of the latest scholarship recipients, the small daily victories that collectively added up to something extraordinary. "I love you, Dad, and Mom will be proud." "I love you too, sweetheart, and yes, she will be proud of both of us." 10 years after that stormy night, when Elon Musk's Tesla broke down on Highway 87, Thompson's Tesla Service Center hosted its annual Future Engineers Celebration. The event had grown over the years into a regional gathering that brought together scholarship recipients, their families, local educators, and business leaders who supported STEM education in rural communities. Maya Thompson-Chun. She had married Dr. David Chun, a fellow aerospace engineer she met during Mars mission training, was a keynote speaker. She had just returned from her second mission to Mars, where she had spent 18 months helping to establish the Olympia Research Station, humanity's first permanent settlement on another planet. The garage had been decorated for the occasion with photos and memorabilia from the decade of achievements that had flowed from that stormy night in 2025. There were pictures of scholarship recipients at their graduation ceremonies, newspaper clippings about technological innovations, and models of the spacecraft that now carried human beings regularly between Earth and Mars. But the centerpiece of the display was a simple framed photograph. Elon Musk, Marcus Thompson, and 17-year-old Maya standing next to a Tesla Model S in the early morning hours after they had successfully repaired a vehicle that had brought them together. 10 years ago, Maya began her speech. My biggest dream was finding a way to afford college. I thought the summit of achievement would be getting a degree in engineering and maybe, if I was very lucky, working for a company that built rockets. She paused, looking out at an audience that included her father and stepmother, dozens of scholarship recipients from the Future Engineers Initiative, teachers who had inspired students to pursue STEM careers, and Elon Musk himself, who had made this annual celebration a priority despite his countless other commitments. What I couldn't have imagined was that a broken-down car would lead to a chain of events that would change not just my life, but the lives of hundreds of other students, and ultimately contribute to humanity's greatest adventure, becoming a multiplanetary species. She gestured toward a large screen that showed real-time footage from the Olympia Research Station, where a dozen researchers were conducting experiments that would pave the way for larger settlements on Mars. The atmospheric recycling systems that keep those researchers alive were based on principles I learned in this very garage, working with my father on car engines, and observing how complex systems could be made more efficient through careful engineering and persistent problem-solving. Maya's voice grew more passionate as she continued. But the real lesson of the past 10 years isn't about technology or space exploration or even education. It's about the power of human kindness to create opportunities that didn't exist before. She pointed to Marcus, who was sitting in the front row with tears in his eyes. My father taught me that when someone needs help, you help them, regardless of what you might get in return. That philosophy shaped every decision that followed. Then she looked directly at Elon. And Elon taught me that success creates obligations, that those who have been given opportunities have a responsibility to create opportunities for others. The audience erupted in applause, but Maya held up her hand to continue. The Future Engineers Initiative has now supported over 800 students. Those young people have gone on to develop renewable energy technologies, design medical devices that save lives, create artificial intelligence systems that solve complex problems, and yes, build the spacecraft and life support systems that are making human expansion beyond Earth a reality. She paused for effect, her voice carrying the weight of someone who had seen humanity's future and knew it was bright. Every single one of those achievements can be traced back to a simple decision made on a rainy night in September 2025. The decision to help a stranger in need. As the evening wound down and the formal celebration gave way to informal conversations and reunions, Maya found herself standing outside the garage with Elon and her father, looking up at the same stars that had inspired her dreams as a teenager. You know, Elon said, I've been thinking about that night a lot lately. I came to Millbrook as someone who thought he understood the importance of innovation and technology, but I left understanding something much more important, that the greatest innovations emerge from human connection and mutual support. Marcus nodded, his arm around his daughter. Grace always said that kindness was like throwing a stone into a pond. The ripples spread out farther than you can see. And now those ripples have reached Mars, Maya added with a smile. Literally, above them, the Olympia research station was just becoming visible as a bright star moving across the constellation Orion. It was no longer just a symbol of human achievement, but a home where people lived and worked and dreamed of expanding even farther into the cosmos. Sometimes, Maya said, echoing words that Elon had spoken years earlier, the most important journeys begin with unexpected detours. And sometimes, Marcus added, the most important thing you can do is help someone else continue their journey. As they watched the space station trace its path among the stars, all three of them understood that they were witnessing just the beginning of humanity's greatest adventure. And it had all started with a simple act of kindness on a dark and stormy night, when a good man decided to help a stranger, and in doing so, change the world. The lesson was simple but profound. In a universe of infinite possibilities, the greatest discoveries begin with the smallest acts of human decency. When someone needs help, you help them. Everything else, all the extraordinary achievements that follow, are simply the natural consequences of that one fundamental principle. And if you ever find yourself driving through Millbrook, Texas, you'll still see the sign outside Thompson's Tesla Service Center. All travelers welcome. No one left behind. Because some values, the very best values, are truly timeless. This incredible true story shows us that kindness and opportunity can intersect in the most unexpected ways. Maya's determination to pursue her dreams, combined with Marcus's selfless willingness to help a stranger, created a chain of events that literally changed the course of human space exploration. The most powerful lesson here isn't about technology or business success. It's about the ripple effects of small acts of generosity. When we choose to help others, we never know how far those effects might spread or what extraordinary outcomes they might create. Sometimes the person we help today might be exactly the person who can help us tomorrow. But more importantly, helping others is simply the right thing to do, regardless of what we might receive in return. We'd love to know where you're listening from. Drop your city or country in the comments below. If this story inspired you to look for ways to help others in your own community, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more stories that remind us of the power of human kindness. Remember, you never know when your moment to make a difference might arrive. It could be as simple as helping someone with a broken down car on a stormy night. The universe has a way of rewarding those who choose compassion over convenience, generosity over selfishness. For another amazing story about unexpected connections and life-changing kindness, click on the video appearing on your screen right now. Until next time, keep believing in the power of helping others, because sometimes that's exactly how we change the world.